Welcome back to the Tidy Room Hangout. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for August 23rd, 2020. Lots of great stuff going on this week. A tremendous amount of stuff going on with the main line, with the Hasbro, with the Chug. Not so much with the Masterpiece. There's a little bit. We're going to talk about all this coming up. So I want to start out with a few cool things that I found over at Show Z. This is the 3-0 Studio 1/6 T45 NCR salvaged power armor based off the Fallout game. And this is a pretty cool, it's huge. It's almost 15 inches tall. Also comes with a different picture showing off the headpiece. So what I understand is this is like armor that goes on an endoskeleton and it's highly posable. But yeah, it's huge. It's awesome. No price just yet, but I think it's pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff. Next up, we have this Yes model version of Defensor. This is a KO of the Guardia set. I think that was Make Toys that made it originally. It's only 15 inches tall. It's not that big, and I really don't think that it has any diecast in it. But it's still a Defensor, which is one of the combiners that is not quite represented just yet. This is a pre-order for it. It's going to be around 180, 176 or something like that. It does look pretty good. It's a little short, but that's not a bad deal for around 180. And the Iron Factory EX43 Primal Commander Optimus Primal is coming in stock. It's incoming at Show Z. It's $62.99, so $63 for this. This is a Legend scale for a Legend scaled Beast Wars. And you know what? This character fits what Iron Factory does best, and I think this is right on and right up Iron Factory's level. Looks pretty cool. So as this is a pretty light week in Masterpiece news, I'm going to run real quick through what each company's got coming out and just going to go over that. One thing about X-Transbots is you can pre-order their reissue of pretty much everything they've made, it seems like. But their Cyclonus is getting reissued. You can go pre-order that right now. He looks pretty good. No price on that one, but there's a price on this clear one, $110 for the clear Cyclonus, which looks good and makes sense. And here's the thing about it, it makes sense because of the whole transformation in the movie, that it looks sort of like this when he gets converted into Cyclonus. So it's pretty cool. And if you want a Cyclonus or want to add to like an Armada for $110, it's not a bad deal. Now KFC has their Junkions. They are showing up around at all the different retailers, so if this is something you've pre-ordered or something you want, they're running about $120 now, so significantly more expensive than they were the other iterations and versions in the past. And there are 4 new ones. I don't know if all 4 are out or just the 2 so far, but they're slightly different for each one so that you can have a different look to them and have a great scene of a Junkion scene. Generation Toy is working on finishing up their set with their next one out is what, Bulance? Is that what they call this one? And so they're working on a Defensor that is still bigger than the Guardia set, but I don't think it's as big as what we're seeing with Zeta and Fans Toys and DX9 and X-Transbots and all of them. But still, I think this might be the best Defensor on the market when it comes out, but not all components are out yet, so it's not quite done. DX9 just released their Kukinski, and I did review it on this channel. It's a great figure, actually. A lot of stuff going into it for just to be an arm on a Minosaur. We're waiting on drag strip so that we can finish that set, and there's still kind of a race to who's going to win the race. Waiting on the trailer for X-Transbots, and we're waiting on quite a bit more for Fans Toys, but it's between X-Transbots and DX9 who's going to be first to get their Minosaur done. So Fans Toys just put out their Hunk and their Dune Rider, and it seems like almost back to back. Both seem to be great figures. I did review the Hunk, and I'm looking forward to the Dune Rider, and Fans Toys just keeps cranking them out, and there's a lot more coming from that company this year, hopefully. MMC is working on finishing up their set with their Combiner and their Bruticus. We're waiting on this Brawl to come out, and it will be done when Brawl is out. That figure should be coming very soon. Unique Toys is working on a movie-style Galvatron they call the RO4 Nero Galvatron. And so from the movie, the live-action movie, there he is. Zeta's working on their Bumblebee-styled Blitzwing from the Bumblebee-style Bumblebee movie. So it's kind of a live action movie version also. I actually think this thing looks really good. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Okay, so Dr. Wu and Mechanic Studio are coming together to make this movie collector MCO2 microscope. I really don't know what scale they're going for with this, but when it's something like this, it was already small in the first place. Would it fit in with your masterpiece or your chug? So I'm going to throw it in here. It's kind of interesting that there's a joint venture between these companies, but then again, behind the scenes, there's probably a lot more joint ventures than we know about. Here it is in its microscope mode, and kind of interesting, kind of cool, kind of brings you back. Okay, so Mastermind Creations is actually working on an Optimus Prime, and from the reformatted line, it's the Optus Pexus, and I don't know much about this character. There's not pictures of anything other than this kind of crouching pose, or about to take off running pose, or sort of a semi-version of the Iron Man pose. But there he is. You can see a bit about it. Looks pretty cool if this is something you're into. So there are more pictures, some really high quality pictures of the Nicey figure and their take on RC. I don't know the release date. I would think she'd have been out by now. I know they were delayed for a multitude of reasons. But in the end, if this figure does turn out to look really good because of the delays, I guess it's worthwhile. I mean, we're kind of used to that in the third-party world. But some of these pictures kind of show more things in it that I didn't know or I didn't see before. Again, I'm not a fan of all the kibble. But kibble can be used as a shield, and there's other things that can be used for. So that's nice, I guess. I really think the alt mode is where this figure shines, believe it or not. It's a bit of a stylized take on the RC alt mode, but still holds a lot of truth to the original. It looks good. It's very impressive. I look forward to getting my hands on this figure. So, collectors of this Studio Series Devastator are either going to rejoice or cry out in anger. There is going to be a box set for this. I'm not sure if it's going to be mainstream, if you're going to be able to get it at Walmart or whatever just yet. But the thing about it is that if you've collected these each component one at a time, I think it's more desirable to get it in the box set. I think it's always more desirable to get a combiner in a box set, maybe get a little bit better price on it. But if you want to put it back in the box, it's one neat box to put it in. But that's something that is kind of debatable. It's fun to get each component as it comes out and then build it. I prefer the box set, and that's me. But for those of you who waited and still want this set, this is probably the way to go. Okay, so I thought it was kind of interesting to find out that we're seeing the Blaster reissue of the original G1, the Walmart exclusive, showing up in Singapore already. So it's only a matter of time till we start seeing them on the Walmart shelves. And I know that they clearanced out the Astro Train, so those should be off the shelves. They got room for this guy. It's priced to sell. I think it's a great deal. So we've got some Generation Selects reveals. First with this Bug Bite. I have to tell you, they are going to milk this mold, this Cliff Jumper, this Bumblebee, this Bug Bite mold. And I couldn't pick a better color than this version of white to milk the mold with. But it is pretty cool. It is an interesting take on the character. And I kind of like the color of the guns and how they're like a shiny metallic look to them. Here he is up close and personal, and really the mold hasn't changed much. It's just recolored and it looks like it's the Bumblebee head. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Not really sure much about this character Bug Bite in the lore, but hey, it's something they're making and it's a thing you can get. So there's a G2 Sandstorm up for pre-order. This is a pretty interesting take on the cone heads, and he's up for pre-order at a lot of places and sold out pretty fast. You can still get him at Darkside Toys, something like that. They're still up there, but a lot of places that I checked, he's sold out. So if you win on this thing, you might want to get a pre-order in before it's impossible to get. Here he is next to the other cone heads that we've already gotten. That looks pretty good as a team, but it's not. Yeah, I guess it is a team. He was unreleased for G2. I guess that's the story behind this Sandstorm guy. So we've got some comparison pics of the 3 RCs in the main line that Hasbro has put out so far, and looking at all these, I still feel like the 30th anniversary looks the best. On the left, we have the Titan's Return, then we have in the middle is the 30th anniversary. The right's the one we're getting right now with the Earthrise. There's pluses and minuses to each one of these if you want to look at that, but 30th anniversary I think still wins. Here's another picture of them kind of in action poses, so showing some articulation for each one and a little bit different angles. Looks good right there. Here is a side view of these ladies all together. And Titan Returns, just so you know, is pretty much just Blur painted pink with a new face. So she's not going to look like the others, obviously. But still pretty cool to have. Here are the alt mode comparisons. And I still feel like the 30th anniversary version, the Generations, has the best looking alt mode too. Okay, so we've got a lot of in-package images of figures that we have seen before in the past, so it's not like it's really that big of a deal, but it's nice to see the packaging. So we have the Netflix Alita one up first, and I think she does look pretty good. Checking out, this is the packaging for that Netflix show that goes along with that, and I still believe it's a Walmart exclusive, but yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good. We've got the Bumblebee one in here, so that looks good too. And this Bumblebee, I just really like how they took the Cliffjumper mold-ish in a way and turned it into a good-looking Bumblebee. So I'm a bit impressed, and a lot of people were speculating they're going to have a whole new mold for it, but they did do quite a few changes to the existing one. Here we are with Impactor, and that looks pretty good. Looks almost like a bit of a metallic of a paint job to the purple, but that might just be the lighting or just the way the picture was taken. Still, looks pretty good. I mean, what is this, the 4th version of this character that they have put out? So that exact mold, 4 times, 4 repaints. Here's a repainted version of Wheeljack, which Wheeljack's a pretty good figure, pretty solid, looks good. Just hopefully you got your windshield piece in there, it doesn't fall off like mine did, or show up missing like mine did. There's that. We also have a Red Alert, and that's what he looks like. A little bit more battle damage on this guy than I think the original one. And yeah, he looks pretty good. We've got in-package images and shots of Decepticon Fast Track. And this is, if you've got your Titan class Scorponok, then you probably want to get this guy to go along with it. And looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good. Definitely an awesome update to the G1 version. We also have in-package shots of Runamuck, and just can only imagine seeing Runabout coming pretty soon. Looks good. We also have Sunstreaker in his packaging, and look at that beautiful yellow, but the yellows don't quite match 100%, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm really excited for this Trailbreaker. I do like the Hoist, which Hoist as a character I never was too into. I always liked Trailbreaker more myself. I do think I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be awesome. But all these pictures we just saw, imagine seeing that on the shelf at the store. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just seeing all these new figures coming out and not all the same old stuff we've been looking at for 6 months. Okay, so we're getting into Rumorville a bit, but a little bit of confirmation. But after Earthrise, we're supposed to be getting something called Kingdom, if that's all 100% true. Anyway, we're supposed to be getting a Cheetor in that, and then a Black Arachnia, and a Rat Trap, and we're also supposed to be getting Optimus Primal and a T-Rex Megatron. And so we haven't seen any of this Kingdom packaging just yet. And there's some confusion that with the Kingdom packaging, we're still going to be seeing Earthrise figures and sort of even Siege style figures. So it's not going to be just straight up a Beast Wars kind of deal. So I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I want to get more information because it would be interesting to get more information to make a full video about it. So let's run through a few more of these rumors for the G1 era. And we're supposed to be getting a huffer and a pipes deluxe scale. We already have the wheeljack. Supposed to be getting the tracks, which we've heard about for a while. Deluxe Shadow Panther, I don't know much about that one. Another Galvatron. Waspinator and Air Razor, now that's probably going to be for the Other of the Kingdom packaging. Slammer, Wing, Finger, Ractonite, then Deluxe Scorponok, so I'm guessing that's another one of those. The Beast Wars one, of course, RC we know of. And then Cyclonus we know of, hearing a possible Galvatron and a Warpath. So there's a whole lot still in the works and showing up. I'm wondering when we'll actually see pictures of these things. That would be exciting. Or then again, some of this could be misconstrued rumors that never amount to anything. Next rumor we're going to talk about is just sort of like a generic kind of headmaster that's coming. So I don't know if they're going to be putting out some of these Titan Returns figures again. Maybe some of the harder to get ones might come back out. I don't know. Or we get new headmasters and they finish any unfinished business from the Titan Returns line. But that's showing up in the Walmart computers, so maybe something's on the way. So there's something interesting from Funbee Studios, the cyber-based system, the Space Bridge Part 1. And this looks cool. If you remember the Space Bridge, though, it was different than this, but this is supposed to be based off the Netflix War for Cybertron Siege series. I haven't quite finished that yet. I might do a review on that whole video when I'm done watching that whole series. Here it is with a couple of characters next to it, so you can kind of see more lights on. There's a different kind of lighting, so you can see the internal lighting of this thing. I think that's cool. I think it's interesting to have more world building and stuff that does that for you in the backgrounds. It's awesome. Here's another one, lights out, so you can kind of see what it looks like. This almost looks like you could double this as Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back and have Luke and Bespin walking through it, but it's cool. It's something different, and I don't see that many, I guess you could say, play sets in the Transformers world. Maybe this will be the beginning of a new trend. Alright, so getting into some Star Wars news, we've had some Fan First Friday reveals here. And here we go with the Attack of the Clones Clone Trooper Lieutenant in the Black Series. And this thing looks pretty good. Add to your army of clones if that's something you're into. We've got the Hondo Naka and a Mountain Trooper. Is that what it is? There, but we got a couple of these guys. Here's what I gotta say about the Hondo figure. Now, wasn't it a $70 SDCC set and it was really hard to get, and the only reason people paid the expensive 70 or 120, 150, whatever after the markup for getting a SDCC set was to get this figure. What about all those people that spent all that money just to get this figure, and now you could just get the figure separately? That's kind of crazy if you ask me. But still, I think it's cool. This should have been a standalone figure from the get-go, from day one, and so I like that. So from the Gaming Greats line here, we got the Electro Staff Perch Trooper. Now, the Perch Trooper originally went from the GameStop, and it was like a come and go. Like, it showed up, it was gone, you never saw it again, and people were really after that. So it's good that they're putting it back out. I guess it's good they're putting it out different, but I guess if people still want to get the first version, it's still hard to get, and I'm sure Hasbro will eventually reissue that. Speaking of reissuing stuff, we actually have a new version of Darth Vader. This is Darth Vader number 86. I'm just kidding. I don't know how many they've made since 1995, but we got another one. He does look good. He looks really good. Just kind of bothers me in a way, though, that they keep making more versions of the same character over and over and over. And I know we're kind of trying to chase perfection, even if it's a small change or a major change. but after a while, it just gets old. I actually have no interest in this. I don't even know if I'm going to pick it up because I have so many Darth Vaders already, even in the Vintage Collection line. So maybe I will. I don't know. But hey, it's selling out pretty much everywhere instantly. Now, Hondo is getting a 3.75 inch release. I think this is the same exact figure that they included with their Millennium Falcon that they just put out, the new BMF Falcon that was put for the Parks exclusive, and it was a Target exclusive. But anyway, he does look pretty good, and he's got all that hyper articulation that you get with the Vintage Collection line. Okay, so we got a bunch of 5-packs of 5 POA figures coming, and I have a bit of an issue with it. Not that they're 5 POA. I don't have anything against 5 POA figures. I'm a mint and package collector, so 5 POA doesn't bother me. In fact, if I'm never going to open them, why does it really matter if they're only 1 POA? You know, it doesn't really matter to me. But the people that want to buy something like this don't want 5 POA figures. So something like a 5-pack that you would open up, they would want highly articulated figures that they can pose. They're not going to display it in this little window box of 5 figures, I don't think. And so the people that want 5 POA or could live with 5 POA would live with it on a nice packaging and individual cards to remind them of the past. But that's not the world that we live in. The Vintage Collection is the hyper-articulated, hyper high price point of $13 a figure. And I think the 5 POA should be on Vintage Style Cardbacks, and Vintage Collection should be something else, or the hyper-articulated should be something else. But that's my belief. I know I get a lot of people that disagree with me on that. My point on this is I don't think this 5 POA 5 sets, I don't think these are going to be appealing to very many people. I don't think it's going to sell very well, and I probably should do a whole video just about the direction Hasbro's going with some of these strange moves that they're making these days. Now next up we have something pretty cool that they released, and it's the Tantive 4 playset. Now I was thinking, okay, yeah, this is going to be the HasLab deal. This is the beginning of the HasLab. And I don't know. Maybe this will correspond with HasLab. But they've done a couple of things that kind of throw you off the path. But if you think about it, with the HasLab, they came out with the Sail Barge, and then they had Jabba's Palace to correspond with it, and the skiff, a new remodeled skiff, redesigned skiff. So all that kind of worked together. If we see this highly detailed playset, or it's really just a showpiece, then maybe they do have a Tantive 4 in mind, and this could correspond with it, so that you could have the giant Tantive 4 up there, and right below it you could have corridors and hallways to display like what it would look inside. I don't know. Maybe that's the direction they're going. Again, like all their other playsets, it is going to be modular. Modular meaning that you could clip a few of them together and you can make, I guess you can go up to 4 clipped together, and it appears to have a little sliding door on it. Cool. Like, this really does make you feel like you're in Star Wars. And for $50 for each one, you're looking at $100 here for them to clip together like that. That's pretty cool. I kind of do like that. It's something that you would be able to make a great display with. And they're going to pack in this figure, I believe. I believe this figure is getting a pack in. So they're showing 3 sets clipped together and 3 figures. And it does make sense that you'd have several of these figures. And you can reenact the opening scene in the very beginning of Star Wars. And it would work really well. I do like that. Now, you also get, if you can see in this picture, one of these guys has a hat on, which I don't really remember so much from the movie, but yeah, you can have him in a hat, or you can have him in his helmet, either way. You might be thinking, well, what about that other playset they were putting out? That maybe they were going a direction with something on Bespin for HasLab. Who knows at this point? We really don't know. I still Tantive 4 is still mine. But this playset, this is the carbonized freezing chamber, the carbon freezing chamber. It's on 25% off at GameStop right now, or I don't know if the sale's still going on, but it was, and it was like $35 or something like that. So it was already getting discounted, heck, before it's even showing up anywhere, before anyone even has it in hand for a review. I guess they're admitting that they've messed up, or it was a failure. But I always kind of had an idea maybe they did have a larger HasLab playset planned, and this would be incorporated with it. But now with the Tantive 4 playset coming out, who knows? Let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What other great things are going on out there these days? I'd like to know. Like, subscribe. Hanger out.